see how everybody is doing and hear about your wonderful projects that you're doing, see if there's anything we can help you with and support moving forward. You know, sometimes it's best to, I know that you do a lot on LinkedIn, so if there's anything that we can do to sort of lift that up as well. And I know that Dee unfortunately isn't here this evening, bless her. So she will be looking at the kindness initiative on right about April, which is basically about people in the community, in your own community, who show kindness every day. So for maybe a bus driver getting off to help an elderly lady under the bus, and the small acts of kindness that make the world a better place. So it would be lovely to get everybody involved in that on come April. But Dee will be updating us on that because she's going to be leading it, and then we're just going to be supporting her. So that's enough about me, really. I don't want to be talking that throughout this meeting. I want to hear from you lovely people. So I'll hand over to James to bring in the first speaker.
Well, I think I'm just going to ask Linda to start, and we've got it down listed as you being the winner. So the winner is Linda.
Right. Well, I've scaled back quite a lot, so I'm still doing my broadcasting. I've not been doing my podcast at the moment, but that might restart. I haven't got any dates at the moment for the live that I've been doing on different topics, mainly because I'm waiting on all this dental surgery, so it seems to be taking longer, and I've got another 2 surgeries booked for May. So I don't know how long after that is going to take to come back, and how I'm going to be in public for that. So I'm doing a lot of writing at the moment. I'm probably going to try and pull these articles together in a book. So that's sort of the aim at trying to do these. I am doing quite a few guest sessions for colleges and universities. So yeah, if we've got any contacts for any the criminology, sociology, psychology courses, then I'm happy to do Zoom interfaces with them, or question times, or anything about experience in prisons or regimes and things like this. So that seems to be going quite well at the moment, and so I'm a little bit tired depending on all this dentist stuff, but once that comes, then I'm want to be traveling more and getting out and getting back on stages, but that's on hold at the moment. So yeah, writing is key at the moment, and Zooms with unis and colleges.
Brilliant.
I'm still doing the radio as well, so yeah, the radio is still there.
Oh, I want to go on your radio at some point to talk about that one.
Anybody? I'm always the two shows. The business networking is talking about anything to do with journeys in business, obviously trying to help other people not fall over the same rocks that we fall over in the road, so you can talk about your own journey. And the other, Stress Buster, anything to do with well-being, physical, psychological, emotional. I had guests from a psychic medium through to a thoracic surgeon, so anything in between. Very interested in the third age and that as well. That would be, a great subject to get involved in.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for you as well, James, for the wise as well.
Well, I was just going to ask you, Linda, have you got a link to any of this going on?
Yeah, I can send them through to you. I'll actually put them in the chat as well.
Okay, well, if you send them over to me, I'll jump on it.
Yeah, the same. I would love to go on and talk about certainly the mental health side, and the importance of keeping each other informed, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chat. Right, these are the 2 links, so you can see what's been going on, previous ones, but just drop me a message and we'll arrange that. The business one is the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 6:15. I prefer it being live because then we get better interaction for an hour, and then the Stress Busters is the 4th Sunday of the month. and that's 10 o'clock on a Sunday.
Brilliant.
But yeah, guests
Thank
always
you, Linda.
welcome.
So can we say hello to Carol-Ann? How are you? Are you
Hi,
muted?
Carol. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, there's some activity going on. Can't hear you that well, but yes, hi, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Been lovely seeing you all.
Busy lady. Well, you're on next, so
Am I on next? Can you sort of go round until the
No.
noise in the other part of the room has gone,
no
and then
chance.
come back to me.
Well, what about Mustafa then? While Caroline gets her breath back, because you look alive and well.
Yeah, currently I'm involved in some of the stuff overseas in Africa in this community building with green energy. There's a stove company which providing low emission or zero emission stoves. But
yes.
we need to talk to the UK. So what I'm going to ask everybody, if you have any project which needs funding for humanitarian or whatever, we can bring a change to the community, what we are doing anyway. There is a good sums of money available from Fed, and it's coming from Japan, one of my contacts. The Barclay working at the moment to register the projects, and then they vet them and then allocate the funding. So if any one of you got any idea or even talk to your network or the people and then share with me the project, then definitely I would love to bring the money to help the community wherever we can contribute.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, you'll get a message off me, that's for sure.
That's good to know that those monies available, right? Everybody else goes on about lack of money, so that's nice to know.
Do you want to carry on now, Anjana?
Yeah, what can I? Yeah, I was reflecting this morning on lots has been happening actually, but it feels nice though, it's just flowing and it's nice energy in terms of some of the work I'm doing. So I'm really following up digital inclusion. So my work with the Hunger Project, it's given me a nice platform to put a lot of things I'm passionate about. So I'm working on with the Hunger Project on World Hunger Day, which is at the end of May. So Linda, I'll take you up on your radio show. Also for International Women's Day, this is through my alumni at Cardiff University, where I was a student a long time ago. I'm mentoring business people. So things are just coming my way and I'm just saying yes. And digital inclusion is sort of the long-term project really. And I'm establishing my database, I want to create a database of 1,000 leaders who are passionate about digital inclusion. And hopefully from 2024, I'll do 2 study tours a year. I'm working with an education institute to think about a program to offer female entrepreneurs in rural parts of the world. So it's not just about digital skills, it's also about business skills and how digital helps with that. So yeah, and I went to a Christian Aid event at the House of Lords. I used to go to the House of Lords quite often in one of my career roles. And this was amazing. I just met a long-standing client to catch up what's happening in the world of work now that everyone's back face to face. And what's happening. And so she invited me to this event, and it was quite fascinating, meeting the former Archbishop of York. And I'm going to go and meet him again. So I'm hoping to have a reception at the House of Lords, hopefully in June, for the Hunger Project. And I'm hoping GGA colleagues will come along too. So yeah, lots going on. And of course, my work as a business psychologist, I'm sort of working in the ESG arena quite a bit with corporates now, because I feel they spend this money, and they call it impact work, but they don't know what impact they're having really. So I'm creating a business stream for my work, consulting work there. I think my consulting work helps to feed my humanitarian work, if you like, so I need both. Life's feeling good. Life's feeling good. That's where I am.
Well,
When's the June event?
I'm just finalizing. I just wrote out to my contacts at the House of Lords, and 3 of them have expressed. So it's, who do I say no to now? Yeah. You know how it works, you have a sponsor appear, and they get the room and refreshments for you, and so which is quite nice. And I think given my ethnic origin, they're all quite jumping at supporting, which is nice. So yeah, I think it's sometime towards the end of June or early July, I'll aim to do that.
Is there anything that you need the GGAs to support you with, even if it's volume of your posts or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll shout out, Carol, because I think invitations and networks, and we want the relevant people coming, right? Not just fundraising, but people who are going to actually sell the cause as well. Because I think the world needs big time rebuilding, it just, not just the pandemic, but Turkey, Syria, Ukraine, there's so much work to be done. But unless people have the basic nutrition and shelter and clothing, without those necessities, it gets hard for anyone to feel motivated to build a life, really. So
just like everybody needs some Maslow theory, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I think there is I'm told there are a lot of funders who are willing to fund. Just talking to my previous clients who are in the City of London, that there is money there, but people are cautious as to where they give the money, right? They want it spent wisely. So yeah, so I'm putting on a bit of a fundraising hat on as well, because I think we need resources.
Yeah, if you need us to do any fundraising, I'm quite happy to do something to kind of support.
Yeah,
so please let me know.
I
I'm
will.
quite happy to do sort of jumping about and whatever it takes.
Yeah, because it doesn't come naturally to. I am getting better at asking now, but it sort of takes a lot of effort to ask for monies. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they like to see you have to sort of to do something for it. They like to, like when I'm raising money, I'm either going for walks or I'm doing whatever to sort of physically seeing I'm working for the money, if you like. Yeah. Anyway, over to you, James.
Yeah, I think I want to play the influencer role a bit more, Carol. I think there are people who can just give money without going for walks and selling cakes, and
yeah.
I think to raise big amounts, yeah, I think yeah, I think you get what I'm getting at. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
See, regarding the hunger, I shared a link in the chat box.
Yeah, brilliant.
James is a good contact of mine. He works to eradicate hunger all over the world. And what
Wow.
they created a nutrition bar which contain all the ingredients required adult or a kid for whole day. And he said that it's approved by so many organizations now, so many governments are working with him, and I'm trying to get funds for him as well. His bar, you just need 4 bars per day, and all the nutritions are there. So if you need any more information or want to get in touch with him, I'm happy to pass his contact details.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I think as a cancer survivor, I really believe in the power of nutrition to keep you going and to make you feel good as well. You know, the chemistry of the brain does impact mental health a lot as well. So yeah, Mustafa, thank you for that. I'll follow up with you.
Sure. I have to go 6:30. There is a green energy call after this. So if any questions or anything else you want to ask, just message me, or I just leave my email address in the box as well.
Yeah, we got that. Thank you for that, Mustafa.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you soon. Be good.
Cheers.
Right, so it's a bit quieter where I am now. So is everyone just giving an update of where they are and what they're doing? Is
That's
that
it.
Yeah.
where we're at? So of course, in parallel, I'm running my business as well, as you all probably know. But my focus has obviously been on SDG 5 and SDG 10. And there's 1 or 2 questions I wanted to ask, because I was concerned that there was a UN delegation going around the UK that we didn't know, A, they were coming, and B, they were going to key cities. And I think I mentioned it in the sort of project thread
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. We need to sort of keep an eye on some of these UN pockets, what they're doing, so that we can align ourselves and be there and represent.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Caroline. And
because we need to
Caroline.
represent, you know,
Yeah.
because it's embarrassing when you say you're a GGA and you say you're doing X, Y, and Z. I know it's to do with the foundation, but the key thing is that we align with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, but we don't even know when they're on our turf. You know, and quite late in the day, I tried to offer some space to them because it didn't identify where in Manchester they were going to be, so that I could find out where they were going to be. They could either use the space, the venue that I was offering, and then the closest to me is yourself, Carol, and James, to say, can you be here as well with me to represent the GGA? So that's one thing. There's also a commission on the status of women. I don't know if you know of that, and that's the United Nations Women UK initiative, and that's an online thing. I think it's going across 2 weeks, but you have to.
I've booked on that. I think you sent a link, didn't you?
I did send a link.
Yeah, so I booked on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, so that we can, I don't know, try and cover some bases, because March for me and October for me are very busy months. March, not just for International Women's Day, but because it's Women's History Month. So I'm doing a lot of events. Yesterday I lost my voice. It's just about coming back, and I do a lot of speaking engagements as well. So March is Women's History Month, and October is UK Black History Month. So they're quite busy times. But yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to sort of put out there at this meeting, is just so that we can try and keep an eye on what's going on. And I'm now a trustee of 50/50 Parliament. Quite important, you know, to sort of redress that balance, and you know, more women in Parliament. And I know that the lady before, she was talking about the House of Lords. So we do a lot with the House of Commons. So I've got it booked on the 1st of March, and that's more or less sold out. for the 50/50 Parliament. But it'd be nice for me to get that in the magazine. This year's its 10th anniversary, but also as well because we've got 2 key world leaders, I'd say, that are female that have left politics.
Yeah,
So you've got Jacinda.
isn't it sad?
It's
Yeah.
very sad. So you've got Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, and then you've got Nicola Sturgeon in
Mm.
Scotland. You know, 2 very strong women, different sort of different focuses, but still very strong women in politics. You know, left politics for whatever reason. So you know, we want to sort of try and motivate. And I know 50/50 Parliament is a UK initiative, but it'd be nice if I could get something in the Ambassador magazine in the next month or 2 months or whatever.
I think you just, all you have to do is put your article in, Caroline.
Yeah, I'll put something. I'll put
You
something
know, and
forward.
then
Lisa,
I think
something
Lisa
that's,
and Chrissy will be all over it, you know.
yeah, that's retrospect from what we do in Westminster. I think do something in relation to that.
Mm,
Sort of put that in.
yeah. Is there any links that you can send that I can follow? Because obviously I want to get more involved with the UN. I'm very strong about the SDGs, as you know. I'm always harping on about it, but I actually believe in it, and I believe in it needs to be, you know, many hands make a difference.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you can send through, and I can
things get filtered to me. It's because so before the pandemic, I'd been over to the University of Aalborg because I mentored some of the young people for the United Nations Youth Association in Denmark. So I did that in the you know, closing the gender content gap for Wikipedia. So in relation to that, but also as well, I've been a couple of times to the Global Festival of Action. And that's always a really good one. And it'd be nice to get back to Bonn to the Global Festival of Action again. That is truly a festival, truly diverse, and you can interact with a lot of people. It'd be nice if we could physically go there. That's another thing. You can sort of join online, but it would be nice to physically go there as well. It's usually around May.
Yeah, I've been doing some research on UN. So the SDGs are a good benchmark, if you like. You know, they give a guide on where we can focus. But working with the UN, people have mixed views, don't they? Because it's sort of seen as a resource-intensive machine that spend a lot of money to no avail at times. I know UN Women in particular have that reputation. Partly I've got some friends who work for UN Women, and they say the same thing, that sometimes to get action on the ground is tough. And, you know, so.
Yeah, but the key thing there is why I'm stating that is the power of the PR. The PR is out there. Okay, so instead of reinventing the wheel, what we do is piggyback PR. So we don't
agree.
put all the effort in. So we piggyback
Got
PR and sort of get that out there. And what that does is put the GGA message out that we are connecting and we are hitting the mark, you know, but we are basically catapulting ourselves, leapfrogging so that we can get to what we're doing, but we're using their PR machine, which is sterling, because my business is PR and marketing and media and so on, and getting that message out, and they do it really well. So rather than we reinvent the wheel, we basically utilize what they do, but then we can hit the mark. So for example, what Chrissy has been doing and so on, hitting the mark, you know, and do it that way.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think that we, the GGA UK need to get out there and get seen a lot more than what we are doing. I know we're doing amazing work individually, but just a little bit more collaborative collaborative work as well, I think. We were just talking, James and I and everybody else, that I don't know how you do it, to be honest, Caroline, because you just never seem to stop, bless you.
Well, that's why I think I've been losing my voice and you know, sort of getting around to, you know, all the different things and the key people like you know, it's not a million miles away, but I'm in Leeds and then I'm in Liverpool doing something, and because I'm trusty from a heritage point of view as well, sort of getting those courageous conversations. So I'm on the board of the Portico Library, which is a heritage organisation. They were closed for some refurb. I thought we'll utilise the time, take the team and take them to the International Slavery Museum, because they're going to be these courageous conversations we're going to have. They're going to have installation that's connected with slavery, that's connected with the empire, connected with colonialism. They're going to have to know how to talk about it comfortably and honestly address certain things. So going to the International Slavery Museum, which they've been doing since 2007, and seeing them working best practice, then, you know, and it works really well. I did a little film on there, I can share that with you. And then we went to the blue coat, same thing with the blue coat sort of issues there. But, you know, where now with these heritage organisations, whereby they're going to have to send certain artifacts back to where they borrowed them from, you know, or they're going to have to talk about key installations, and they're going to have to do it honestly.
Yeah. But don't you find that with so many different, shall we say, in society, uncomfortable topics, people just sort of, I find it certainly with the mental health side, because I am just, sometimes I feel like I'm hitting a brick wall.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
trying to reach out to people and say, like, you know, I've been poorly myself. I've lost my sister through suicide. I've known so many people, the same as so many other people. You know, people lose, one person loses life every 40 seconds in the world. And there's, you know, that's staggering. And it's like, it's almost like, what I've noticed is if I put a post on to say wellness, a lot of people are attracted to it. As soon as I mention mental health, I get very little feedback. Maybe 2 or 3 people will mention, you know, I'll stand up but I don't know what it is. It's
well, there's a couple of angles as well. So, for example, there's certain organisations, let's say some of the blue light organisations, need to know how to use a proper language and you know what they need to say. Just recently, the young lady that's still missing, and the way Lancashire Police have put the information out about, you know, as if it's a bat to beat her with, you know, menopause and drink issues, because
yeah,
it affects them. That was a shocking way, you know, she's still missing. There's an issue there, but they're trying to use
they're trying to take the blame on
something,
themselves now, aren't they? Because they were going on about, you
most
know,
definitely.
she had alcohol issues and, like you said,
Yeah.
menopause and
you know, dealing with it totally incorrectly, but really incorrectly, you know. So yeah, so it's an uphill battle at the end of the day. It is an uphill battle, but people are going to have to bite the bullet and have these honest and courageous conversations.
You know, I'm quite lucky where, well, the job I'm in, like the paid job, if you like, as a support worker for veterans, because it's about mental health, it's homelessness, it's like so many different things. So the organisation, I'm straight out there, you know, I'm a champion, I put it out to them. I've had mental health, and I don't agree with people having to hide anything.
No.
And, you know, throughout their lives, whether employment, LGBT, all these things, I just think people should live, and there'd be a lot more happy people in the world if they were just allowed to live, you know. Obviously,
until they're comfortable to share.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Because
Exactly.
on the flip side, people unpick where people are not ready to share. that
Mm.
information as
Yeah,
well.
it has to be a decision when they want to share.
Mhm,
Definitely. But I just think that, to be honest, I think the world is quite cruel. It's very, you know, I see it. Yeah. And I think it's a generation thing. I don't know. I remember back when, in the day when I grew up in Belfast in the Shankill Road, it was really, really rough area. And, you know, my dad was just bigoted in every way. He just so uneducated. It was, you know, it was like literally in his little fishbowl and that was it. And that's what he stuck to. And he didn't agree with so many different things. So by the age of 16, I was out of there. I thought, you know, I'm getting away from it. I don't want any part of it. And then when I had my son, obviously I was in the military myself, you know, I made sure he was having friends with the Gurkhas, the Fijians, all the different people, all the nationalities. And he now works in London. He's a removal man, and he, you know, he embraces all cultures, and so he should do. And that's the way I want. That's the way I wanted it, and thankfully that's the way it's happened. Yeah, so I'm definitely a people person. I'm like stand up for rights. It's right, I think. It makes me quite angry, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So James, sorry, Carol. So James, what's the update with some of the stuff that you're doing with the elderly?
Mine is a lot going on. I was just thinking there to myself, everybody is sort of looking outwards, but I'm actually, you know, centre-based for all sorts of reasons, age decrepancy and a sick wife.
Yeah.
Depends on it. So I don't actually do an awful lot outside. I don't attend meetings apart from on Zoom, but I have an enormous amount of reach in all sorts of ways. And the past 12 months has been building the platform where I can reach wider and wider to a more targeted audience about influencing change towards ageism particularly, and getting people to understand what abuse is of the elderly, about dementia. And I've been using platforms and posts and articles which talk about how the actual privileged people who have succeeded in the arts or succeeded in films and movies actually do suffer alongside with everybody else, but we actually don't see that. It's all sanitized and hidden away. So when people actually start to see that Sean Connery had dementia and so on, and complex dementia at that, then they start to realize that it's okay to be honest about it. Well, that's the theory. For instance, the reach now, we actually, when we do a post, we post out to 28 different groups, all of which are care associated, particularly for the elderly, but mostly about dementia, mental health. And one group I was just thinking of when you were talking, Carol, was the mental health change agents, associates, advocates rather, and they've got 160,000 members.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
when you actually put out a post to them, if you don't get a couple of thousand hits and people contact you and asking questions or advising or getting involved, you're very surprised.
I get a
Wow.
lot of people, sorry, Caroline, I get a lot of people who private message me because they're so frightened to tell, you know, they're so frightened to even like the post on LinkedIn in case their employer sees it. And I think that's really sad.
It is sad, but it's real. We have to
It
take
is real, yeah.
And you know, from my point of view, it's bridging the gap between young people and people in need, providers of care in particular, who are in it for the business, which is fine. We need them, but they've got to get it right. And I'll probably getting a bit more caustic as the years goes by about people who fail us. And as such, I'm mentoring now. I think it's grown to about 7 entrepreneurs who want to expand and don't know how, and they don't know how to get it right. Those are just some of the things that I'm doing, but also to get people to look at our platform, which is World Elders, the WISE platform, We used the Poetry Annual, which was a great success. We've just published today Starwise, which is about famous people who are all stars that everybody looks up to, that kids know, everybody knows the name. But at the same time, they've either had abuse themselves or they've had serious illnesses themselves, but for PR reasons, it's all been covered up. So in other words, it's pulling the veneer of Victorian respectability away from the protectivity that PR actually does. Nobody wants, to have their investment sort of downed, and they've always believed that anything like any stigma, whatever it may be, may hurt their pocket. So it's about being able to get past those barriers. At the moment, I'm just working with Carol we've just finished some scripts which are going across for the next bout of creativity going on the website, which will exploit through posts, and they'll go over to, I think, we go up to 3.5 million contacts. So it's starting to get a bow wave, and those articles will be things like the 10 best things about being an elder. So it actually celebrates being old. I have every reason to. 10 activities for elders with limited mobility. I have also a reason for doing that, as you know. Types of abuse and how to spot it, what to do once you find out about it, who to go to, and what's your rights. And then things like, which are therapeutic, like music for elder health, how you can actually inspire people with dementia through music. And of course, the big problem about people who keep getting it wrong about dementia care. And it's a bit like the old issue when I was young. If somebody looked a bit peculiar, you had to talk very loud to them. Are you all right, Lord? All of that goes on, that patronizing language. I'm trying to sort of get people to just take it for granted and treat them as they would a brother or sister. So apart from that, I'm planning now and getting in touch with people with for more poetry for the next annual, which will be published around about the end of November, early December this year. We're about to hit the numbers which will help the Wise Journal convert into a book in its own right, rather than be on Migran. So I'm looking for more stories to publish on that. And why does it matter? Is because it all helps to influence the interested people out there. For instance, when we first started, if we got, I would be quite excited if I got responses from 1,000 LinkedIn members. This morning, in the last 30 days, we've had 34,000 plus views.
Wow.
Which I think is starting to show some sort of gravity. Now, I have a problem with being able to gauge how that influences, what values it has, and how to report back on it. All I can say at the moment is we do have that traffic. Does that actually get people to the website? Yes, it does. It's not as big as that growth in views, but certainly a higher proportion of people are now visiting the website. Again, I question myself, how important is that in terms of influence? I don't know yet, so I'm working on that. So in terms of my activities, it's simply continuing the same framework, but I'm enjoying it. It seems to have an influence, and I think it's starting to do something for world elders one way or another. Oh, by the way, one of the reasons why I mentioned our films is because I've now agreed with SignSource to help me have a signer in front of all of those, each one of those movies. So I think that's quite a valuable tool to have, a relationship to have. Fabulous family, love them to bits, and I can't help but admire, the true grit they show in terms of being able to communicate in such a way. So they've invited me in, I've accepted, we're going to see if we can't do something to, once we've got Carol's edited screens, I can populate it with them signing to say what she's actually saying. I know you've got the screen underneath with the words on.
Mhm.
It'd be much nicer if we can actually do it for other reasons, for the educational formats out there. Boring myself now, ladies.
I promise I'll get a haircut. Haven't had a chance yet.
I'm coming over with the scissors, I am.
I think there's a niche within your niche as well, James, that certainly coming up, my friends are either just coming up to just retired, or a couple of years sort of coming up to retirement, and not necessarily any major health issues, but the actual transition initially is like, oh yeah, great, I'm looking at holiday and time off, but then that initial loss of identity seems to be a really big stepping
Yeah,
stone.
absolutely right.
So I was thinking about perhaps doing something apart from the stuff I'm doing, is maybe just in that little bit, the transition period, and refinding yourself in a different view, you know.
Do you know what? That is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's so
brilliant.
important as well. Because once people start to see that, or feel that they've got no future, or that's a future that they did have, that's when depressions start to click in. And that's when they stop going out and become isolated and all the rest of it. I've seen it too many times. And particularly, you know, if they lose the partner.
Mm.
Yeah, or if you know they've been single for a while. You know, I'm particularly thinking of a couple of the ladies that I work with, and they've been in nursing. They're quite senior staff, but they've come up to the retirement age, and they've sort of lost their identity because they haven't got their profession.
Yeah, they feel as though they've become a nobody.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you know,
it's a strange one.
and certainly one in particular, you know, health wise, she's good. She hasn't got any major illnesses or anything like this. But just recently, every time I speak to her, I speak to her quite regularly, like on Zoom or you know, something like that. And she'll either just still in bed, or she's still got a you know, dressing gown on, so she's not you know,
Not motivated.
yeah. She's lost. She's got no direction. She's got no reason to get up. And she sort of says, you know, what does it matter if I get up at 7 or if I get up at 2?
Yeah, she should go and work for Carol Ann.
I think that's it, you
That'd
know,
wake her up.
looking at the voluntary services, looking at, you know, taking that knowledge, because the wealth of knowledge that is being lost with these
Yes.
people coming out of the workforce as well. Yeah.
Well, if you've got people like that, they may well be interested in helping me on the platform.
Mhm.
Think about it. Let me know.
Yeah, I can certainly ask. I mean, I don't think they're particularly technically minded, but
No, I'm the technician. But I'm talking about, you're talking about the wealth of knowledge, nurses and people who've been in particular structures of health. No matter what sort of boundaries they have within their culture, it's still of value to where I'm going or where this needs to go.
Yeah,
to
it's
be-
co-pilot, isn't it, more than anything else?
You know,
Brilliant. Yeah, so I think for me is I'm just working on everything, working with James and obviously doing the chair stuff, and I'm going to branch out more on the mental health side, but I'm just working around the clock at the minute, doing 15, 16-hour shifts sometimes, so hence the hair has not been cut. So anybody got anything else that they want to kind of talk about, any other business that you think that we need to discuss?
no, fine.
yeah, I'm happy. Thank you, Carol.
Yeah. Nice
Good
to
to
see
meet you
people again.
guys. Nice to see you, Carol Ann and Linda.
Such a difference, and hopefully we'll try and arrange these once a month. I think that's probably the only time, because we're all just so busy, and Carolyn, as I say, you never stop, do you? So Linda and if there is anything that you do need or you want us to help, please just reach out.
Yeah. Do you know the deadline for the magazines? I always
It's the 1st of every month.
right. So
Mr. Martin.
it'll probably be for the April one now because,
Yeah.
like I say, we're in Westminster on the 1st of March, and then it's sort of, and then I've got I'm doing the Walk for Women, the Manchester
Oh,
Walk.
brilliant.
Yeah, so I do that like every year. So we have about 3,000 women do the walk, and then I
Where
manage.
is that in Manchester?
Yeah, so that's from the Manchester Cathedral to St Peter's Square, and then I take over Manchester Central Library, and I have a festival there. So I have, and it would be really nice for something like that, sort of promoting, stuff there because I have like a mini exhibition, and then I also I have performances as well. A lot of them are some students that I used to teach, but also as well people from the community, dancing, spoken word, and yeah, and and that's for 2 hours. So the walk starts 12:30 to 1:30. Then at the steps of the library, there's a kind of like a welcome by the mayor and the leader of the council, and then they come into the library, and then that's 2 till 4. And it's just a nice afternoon. So we've been doing that for quite a few years now for the council. And there are other things going on as well, and I'm doing stuff in Leeds.
When's that one? Can anybody book on that?
Yeah. So you can just turn up. If you want to stall, it's basically a tabletop to have some things to promote, whether it be some of the stuff that James has got to do with, WISE, some of the information in relation to the mental health thing. You could sort of book yourself on. But what I'll do is I'll put it in the GGA LinkedIn thread.
Yeah, please. I would like to come down and take a day off and have a day out.
Yeah, you bring someone with you, bring someone with you, and then it'd be quite nice to do that. But like I say, there's some gospel that you can spread there. Then there's enough people about, really.
Well, I hope you get your voice back soon.
Yeah, it's wavering, and I've got to do stuff next week, and I'm due on the radio as well.
Honey and
Yeah.
lemon.
Hope I get it back.
All right, well, take care. I'll speak to you all soon.
All right, take care. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Laura.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.